The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 324 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. That's right, we're calling this one loud and clear for very obvious reasons. You want to shush us? You'll just hear us a little bit more. You want to shush the fans? That's cool. Want to shush the supporters? Hey, whatever. At your peril, because guess what? Denny Bwanga's going to talk. It's beautiful. It was great. It was justice. One heck of a game for leg one. But guess what? The score doesn't mean anything because it's just leg one and you got to win the next one. That's how this game's going to be played. That's how this tournament's going to be played. So here we go. Let's do this. Of course, we've got Bam, we've got Tony, we've got Araceli on, and of course, our amazing community of supporters who will be joining us with their comments, questions, and all that stuff. And we want you to jump in as well if this is your first time doing this. We'd love to hear from you. So let's do this. Let's get going. Bam, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing. Been a rough start to the day, but getting there.
You're on the right side of it. That's what matters most, man. Tony, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Excited for game 2 of a game that doesn't have goal aggregate or anything, and people all over the world in the MLS, in the US, think it's backfired on MLS. But overall, happy that we can go play against Vancouver and then see what happens moving forward, because as people have pointed out, I believe the last final game for the first quote-unquote round of this little 3-round game was played yesterday, and now we're moving on to round 2.
It's ridiculous. So yes, we're gonna basically be celebrating our championship this weekend because it's like the anniversary of it. While we're just beginning our playoffs. Dumb, so dumb. But here we go. We're in the mix for it. This is that tournament where you could lose your first game and not win a single game on the field and just hold off for penalties for the next 2 and somehow become champion at some point. Just holding off, draw everybody, call it a day. Yeah, the fun of MLS. This is to me one step below shootout. Might as well bring that back if you're gonna get silly. Have fun with it. Let's see Messi try that out. Fun times. Araceli, how are you doing today?
Oh my goodness, I'm doing very well. Speaking of the fun of MLS, I'm sure you guys already know with the SKC St. Louis, what that match was like this past weekend. And this city, I have never seen so many sporting flags spread around the city. I'll put it that way. But otherwise, I'm just glad that I'm catching up on a lot of much needed sleep.
The Chiefs lose to the Broncos, and now everybody's abandoning them and going to SKC. I get it. It's kind of like Laker flags showing up randomly in Los Angeles. I totally get it. No, honestly, that was the game that I think everybody was saying, hey, that's the upset. That's going to be the upset. They finally got a chance. Peter Vermees with the experience, they got a chance. And then what does SKC do? They bench their 2 top guys to rest them in leg 1 and somehow get the win on the road. I don't know. A little bit of voodoo, but we'll take it for the sake of it. Now we just need Dallas to do their jobs and throw a wrench into the old man mix in Seattle, and life is good again for LAFC. And of course, we got to do our own job and get the job done this weekend, and that's the most important thing, and that's what we're going to cover today. A little bit of MLS too. We will talk about it, especially when you guys are doing the comments, because honestly, the results have been pretty typical except for one. Let's be real. Which makes you wonder, why are we doing a 3-game series? Because all but one was an upset, but here we are. So let's get after it. Let's do it. Let's talk about the last match. Rather interesting, the way it all shaped out. It's the first time that our own stadium, BMO, actually looked like a playoff MLS stadium where there's half empty seats to begin the game and they eventually come in later. That is typical MLS because of their terrible playoff setups and weird times made for TV rather than the local supporter. And so here you go. It was a bit of a weird setup. North End was going nuts, and that was beautiful. But yeah, really an odd start to things off the field, made up later as the game progressed. Now, the lineups, what they were going for. It was pretty typical. There's no real surprises here. For us, Max was in goal. Chiellini and Murillo were anchoring the back line. We had Hollingshead. We had Palacios. No shock there. Midfield was Bogusz, Sanchez, and Tillman. Obviously, Acosta, not a full 90 guy right now. And so then up top, of course, Buanga, Vela, and Olvera. So, yeah, this is where we went. This is honestly the strongest lineup we could under the circumstances. I don't think there was any other way outside of Acosta. If he was ready to go, then, of course, you have that question. But he wasn't. So we went with this. Now, the other side, totally predictable. We all knew it was going to look like this because it's been working for them so far. They had Takaoka in goal. They had Veselinovic, Blackman, and Brown as their center backs. Yes, three wide. Kubas as their defensive midfielder with Vite and Schopf as your central midfielders. Larea and man, I'm going to butcher his name, but basically Adekugbe. Yeah, left mid. I got it right. See? Did my homework. Like that, Tony? Tony was celebrating. Gald and White up top. So, yes, that was the lineup. Of course, Gald and White are always their story. This is why they are where they are and what they're doing, because those two have just found a way all of a sudden. And it showed in this game. Tony, highlights, lowlights. It got rather interesting rather early. Let it rip, man.
So with a 5-2 score, as we just go into it, that was pretty much the highlight. I'll say that. The low light is, again, I'll go back to this, the Google MLS wrong time for everyone. That is why the stadium was empty, because as most people saw, like when defenders went live, people were like, what? The game's on right now? Because everyone said on Google 6 o'clock, everything else 6 o'clock. LAFC was 5. Bam probably missed a couple of goals, and so I'll recap that really quickly with you for the first half and second half. In the 18th minute, a goal by Rolling Hollingshead, our true number 9 that we have here, because let's be honest, he is the grinder that scores those hard goals with a very left-footed shot in a very difficult corner that megs the keeper. And not even about 10 minutes, not even less than that, Mr. Brian White decides to make us all mad and score a goal and tries to shush us. But fortunately for us, we have the Golden Boot winner and most likely MVP that I would say is probably most deserving, Denise Buanga, scoring a miraculously goal from outside the box. And it was a stunner. Then, Saint Denis. And then I will butcher the name, so I'm just going to call him Sam, because I'm not like Joseph and can pronounce very hard last names. But Sam decides to header a goal in. Again, we'll say this, Murillo was the mistake on both goals, and this was the second one. And he, again, tries to shush us down, and that kind of made us mad. Going into the second half, we were doing a couple curses here and there. I was for sure cursing them out, but they finally got the beating, because in the second half, 52nd minute, Mr. Rhines Hollingshead again, our true number 9, give him a raise, give him the number 9, because that is the number 9, not Mr. Pistolero or Mr. Mario Gonzalez, with a goal in the 67th minute. And then, of course, in the 64th minute, with a very lackluster defense, but a nice shot by Mr. Denis to get the other brace of the game. And for the mess up of the first 2 goals, Mr. Murillo with a nice header, hits the top net, hits the top of the crossbar, comes down, bounces back in, bounces back out, and it is a goal. And that is your scoreline with 5-2. And the only other thing I would like to say is goal differential does not matter. So everything is a wipe clean. We destroyed them, yes, but now we go on to another playoff game that we have to win, or they could park the bus.
Every game is game 1. Yay. So you're not even going to mention the Palacios takedown after that Murillo goal? Like, that was just
the
stone cold
out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude, that was beautiful. Yeah, that was that fine job. No, the celebrations were on point. Our guys, dude, there was some passion there from the guys. There was some anger. You could see it. Um, the attitude was right. Yes, they pulled 2 goals on us. Yes, there was some mistakes, but when you score 5, who the hell cares? Really. Um, you don't need to worry about 2 if you're popping 5. I mean, that's kind of the old LAFC way. We did it this time. Were they wasteful a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. We had a lot of chances there. I think there was 18 shot attempts and 6 made it on goal. Typical LAFC. It was very old school LAFC this match. Uh, which if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we're all gonna complain. But hey, take it, run with it, have a good time with it. Um, I think the biggest takeaway for me was, damn, this could be our last game of the season at BMO. And that was weird, right? I didn't process that. And then you walk away and you're like, wait, like even if we win this whole thing, there's a chance that was it, right? Which maybe explain why Vela and all the guys hung out after the game. They processed it, I guess. But yeah, we could come back home if things work our favor. If not, get your flights booked. Take your PTO right now. There's enough time in between the rounds. You don't know what city it's going to be in, but you might want to figure that out. And we'll just travel strong. We'll take BMO with us, if it works out that way. We shall see. I think looking the way the team was playing, and Bammy could probably agree, they're kind of ready for anybody at this point. They finally looked the part, in this game. Again, we have the hiccups we always know about, but if you play like that against anybody in this league, gonna fare pretty well, I think. What do you think, Bam? What are your thoughts on the match?
I did fall into the trap of the MLS starting at wrong time and all that. It was advertised as being a midday kickoff here in Australia. I'm like, awesome. Woke up at 20 past 11. Thought I'd be able to go have a shower and all that. Looked at my phone. We scored. What the hell's going on? Tracked it straight away. So I only missed the first goal. I only missed Ryan Hollinghead's first goal. But I was able to rewind, watch it, and then catch back up again. Interesting fact that has worked out. If you add up the wages of our 3 goal scorers and then divide it by how many goals they scored, each goal cost us literally just shy of 700,000 for the year. 2 of our goal scorers getting paid just over $500,000 for the year.
It's an expensive sport, expensive hobby.
It is. Yeah. But you know what? It just shows that some players deserve more than what they should be getting. Ryan Hollingshead, for example.
You mean pay that man his money? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm saying that because Mr. Hollingshead, his base and guaranteed is the same for this year of 515,000.
That's wild. He's got a lot of mouths to feed, people. So maybe the bonuses need to be a little bit better. Right?
Maybe
right?
His base deserves to be a bit better.
Dude, I mean, what a sleeper pick, right? The trade when it went down and how it just keeps paying dividends and how important he is on the team. And in a way, at times, he seems like another coach out there, right? The leadership aspect is there too. And it cost us the guy that cost Dallas a penalty in their playoff game. That's what it cost us. It's just wild, man. Just wild to see. But yeah, he is the gift that keeps on giving. You know how I am with him. It's been fanboy from day one, knowing what we were going to get. Didn't think he was going to score this much, but we knew he was going to score. I mean, he's always had that knack. It's just, dude, compared to some other players on this team, talk about pulling weight versus not pulling weight. And you know who I want to talk about, but I'm not going to even mention them because they aren't worth it. It's Hollingshead moment. So,
that day, you look at our current top scorers. Number 1, Bouanga, obviously. Number 2, Vela. Number 3, Ryan Hollingshead.
It's wild. That's an outside back. You know, that played as an amateur up top, right? College level. It's just fun. It's fun, man. And the resurgence of his career. Like if he was in Dallas, this isn't happening. It's not happening, right? It's here. It's the perfect environment. It's where he wants to be. He's got the perfect manager that knows how to utilize him and trust him. Because I mean, we when you watch him play, I think most managers would lose their minds to see where he's traveling in a game. I mean, really pay attention to some of the runs he makes, and it's another planet, man. Like, where's he going? Yeah, it's wild to watch, and you know that it's not exactly planned. He's just reading the game. He knows where to be. He sees the runs, and he knows where to go, and it's just fun to watch him play. Just isolate, and how intelligent he is as a player. It's fantastic. It really is. Araceli, your thoughts on it overall? Yeah. I mean, what's your breakdown? What do you think?
I think when it comes to the win, it's one of those where you do start second guessing MLS's new playoff format, because you wish that was just the only game, but that's neither here nor there at this point, unfortunately. But regardless, the win in itself was refreshing to watch, to be honest, considering how the boys performed on decision day and prior to that. It was good to see them, as you say, the old school LAFC in a sense, and to watch obviously the power of the stash is back, and Bawanga reminding everybody why he won the golden boot. So I can only hope that they can keep this momentum up going into the second round on Sunday.
Yeah, Little Bird told me he was actually he was pinning for a hat trick in this thing because he was so pissed after the last game. Kid you not. And so it was one of those days. Like he needed to make a statement. I think he did, guys. I think he did because even though he didn't score 3, he was responsible for 3. That's for certain. Um, keep it up, guys. I know the turf's going to be tough, but if they can play like this, we'll be fine. We'll be fine in all of this. Tony, your impressions overall?
Overall, for the game in general, this is what the LAFC we've been waiting for of throughout the whole season. We've seen flashes of it. My only concern is, sorry to be Debbie Downer for everybody, is can we stay consistent with this? That has been the issue, besides the players missing and not finishing, is consistency. Can we consistently do this day in and day out? Mind you, I don't want a 5-goal all the time. I want us to be this strong team in going into Vancouver, and then most likely going and making sure we don't get hurt here, because if you also didn't notice for the Seattle game, that we might end up going to one of their players ended up being injured because of, guess what? The turf. So we have to also stay healthy on top of that. And if SKC can do us a favor and then burn out afterwards, so we don't have to face them, we can have our final home game as the conference finals, because for us to host the MLS Cup, just for all y'all to realize what we have to do, it has to be either Atlanta and below. Anything above that, we are going to the East Coast or Cincinnati. Or sorry, Ohio.
Ohio. Man. Yeah, I got jokes on that one, but I'll leave that alone for now until we get farther down the line. I will say this: when we talk about consistency, the one thing that kills consistency for LAFC, which kind of stinks, is turf. It is the one thing that throughout our entire existence was the one leveler. If you want to level the game with LAFC, play them on turf. It's a thing. And so we go into the second leg. We've got to play on turf. We've got to get over that, right? Wake up call, because it ain't the only place it's going to be turf. You get through this round, you go to Seattle, turf. You go to St. Louis, I think it's a hybrid, right? I think it's a hybrid field. And then you keep going farther, and there's other turf stadiums, man. You're going to have to get through a couple rounds of turf. That's just life. Other teams have had to do it to get there, right? It's just what it's going to be. So this is the first test. This is where it's going to have to make itself happen. Because yes, I know if we tank game 2, just come back home again and play. But who the heck wants to do that? Especially if you have a ref that's not up to snuff for that game. We know what happens, right? One bad decision and it all goes out the door. So This has to be it. This has to be the moment. It can't be anything other than that. I guess, are we doing playoff 3 stars, Bam? Are we going for this?
No, that was only for the regular season. But I do have an update on that, though. I do have an update on
Yes.
that. So during the week, I said I'll get back to you on everything there, and I have done that. So if I can find it, and where did it all go? Where did it all go?
Calculating.
No, I think my
deleted it.
I think my computer did delete it.
I was kidding. I was kidding.
It's Tony's
Alright,
fault, people. It's all Tony's
let's
fault.
shut that. Let's have a look.
I'm kidding.
Let's have a look.
Nothing.
Jinxed him. He jinxed him.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Did you find it?
Let's hope this works.
Yeah, here we go.
Here's the
This moment
suspense.
brought to you by, so as you already do know, Danny did win it, but by how much, right? And the breakdowns are so tight for the other positions. That's the fun part. That's what, right, Bam? That's what we really want to feature is what? Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. We'll hear from the supporters first.
I'm gonna throw my computer.
Yeah, he's had a lot of
It's
technical
expensive.
difficulties.
Computers
That's for
are
sure. Yeah, but if it's under warranty, whatever. All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's hear what you guys have to say. There's about 15 comments I see waiting. I think it's time, right? Let's do this. Reaction time, people. All right, let's jump on. Let's see who we get first. We've got Mark Lopez. He says, "We want the cup. We want the cup." Yeah, defending champs, man. Run it back. Isn't that the plan? Roberto Espinoza says, "Wow, White taunting the Northern was such a feast move. He's a punk move, man. He knows there's no consequences for it, right? This is MLS. So yeah, it's kind of cowardly, dude. Honestly. Bam's, he knows where my head's at on that one right now. Burke says, "What's up, party people?" Roberto Espinoza, first game is meaningless. It's just the win. You get the win. That's what you gotta get, right? That's all that matters. Burke Fournier says, "Excellent first match. Deneen Hollingshead putting in work. Also, shout out to Murillo for making the proper changes in the second half. Waking up? He woke up? Yeah, he woke up. A little better there, that's for sure." Mendo says, "Sup, y'all. We've got Soccer USA." Says, "Hollingshead never getting the U.S. national team nod is asinine." Yeah, I guess he wasn't a part of the clique. What? Yeah, I said it. There you go. Mendo says Ryan should lend Pistolero his cleats. Oh man, that would curse the cleats. Let's not do that. I'll say this: if Ryan lends Pistolero his cleats, Pistolero needs to lend his contract to Ryan. So there you go. Burke's agreeing about the snub for Ryan. Yep. Roberto Espinoza, Hollingshead for mayor of LA. Dude, Hollingshead for everything, man. He's the man. Mendoza's last pass has asked for one set piece goal, and Fellas delivered four of them. Hey, that's the playoffs, right? I mean, the dead ball is the story. That's how it's got to be. Yeah. Mendoza says, "Now all I want is a 4-game winning streak." I mean, we have to, right? That's how this tournament's set up, which is hard to do in MLS, but there we go. Not like we haven't done it before. Soccer USA, is it just me or is Richie Larea annoying as heck? From his cheap shots to the instigating and constantly playing victim, I can't stand the guy. So there's always one of these guys, a resident pest. And in the playoffs, you need a resident pest. I'm sorry, but that's how it works in this thing. He's that guy for them. Now, if you're annoyed by Richie Larea, watch the Seattle game. They've got 6 of those guys. It's some wild stuff, man. And that's who we're, if we get through, that's who we're playing next. They got one pest. Just wait till we get to the later rounds on some of these other teams. Oof, it gets funky. Roberto Espinoza says, "I don't want to play Seattle. Nobody wants to play Seattle. I don't want to play there because 1, turf, right? 2, they always get the calls. 3, they injure people and get away with it. Just watch the game against Dallas. Oh yeah, they dive into penalties too. Oh yeah, I don't like those guys. I'm with you, man. But hey, if we have to play them, we got to do the job. Soccer USA says, will Vancouver fill up their stadium? I heard they will be opening up the top section for the first time ever. Is that many LAFC fans going? Really? That many are going? No, I heard a lot were going. So maybe it's for us guys. You know, the ones that don't make noise. Right. Whoever is going, just take it over, man. Like, all I want to do is hear you guys all game. Just go nuts. Embarrass those dudes in their own house. It'll be beautiful. Oh, Soccer USA says this Bogusz needs a sub. Who are you going with? Crossdev, right? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, Gracia. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
obvious
I think
one.
he's getting a knee jerk.
Yeah.
Crossdev. Or if Acosta's on the bench, Acosta. Like, yeah. I'm at this point where I see Acosta interchangeable with Bogusz, interchangeable with Tillman. He's one of those guys, right? It could be any of those three. And then Krostev is the story, right? I mean, he's the future and the present. So I trust them all. I think they're fine. The only time it seems a little funky is when Tillman and Acosta are together. I get that. It shouldn't be that way, but it just has been. But no, to me, that's my first thought is Krostev. What, Burke? What the hell is Jacksonville Armada? That's old school, man. That's from the past. That's like USL, right? I mean, or no, was that NASL at one point? Not, I mean,
so.
not old NASL, like the new
Yeah.
NASL that they had for a very short amount of time.
They're now the new MLS Next Pro team.
Yeah, but the name is old. So yeah, the name is a rehash. That's for sure. Funny times. Okay. Dave Gomez says, hi y'all. Next match in Vancouver can't come quickly enough. Yeah, we're ready for it. Ooh, here's one for Bam. Soccer USA asks, Bam, do you prefer Ordaz or Mario coming off the bench in a close game?
Ordaz.
Yay. I'll throw out to Tony. What do you think, Tony?
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's not going to give it. So Ordaz.
I think it's almost unanimous. We all love Ordaz. I'm looking over. Yeah, it's unanimous. It's unanimous. Mark Lopez says, extra time host predicted we would lose and said our set plays are trash. So glad I didn't listen until after we won. Pundits are against us. Have you seen how they run on fantasy? It's extra time, man. Like, yeah. Are you surprised? I'll say this, and I think our panel here can agree. Anytime we've been listed as a favorite, it's kicked us in the butt. And anytime we've been listed as a underdog, we trash teams. Keep it up. Make us underdog the entire tournament. I'm cool with it. I like it. Right, Araceli? Make us the underdog and it'll pay off every time.
No comment.
No. Oh, okay. No comment. There
They're
you
my
go.
colleagues.
There
I'm sorry. No comment.
I know. I'm not talking smack, but if they do write us off, we tend to rise to the occasion, don't we? Any writers, it's a thing we do. So it's okay. It's okay. Roberto Espinoza says, if we win in Vancouver, it's going to be so long for the next round. Like, what, 15 games? What? Yeah, 15 days, right? So basically, there's an international match day that we all have to deal with and take. Oh, Thanksgiving, too. Apparently, we don't want to do anything before that. Damn MLS. Oh, okay. Whatevs. Yeah, there's a long break. That means everybody gets to heal up. So everybody play on turf. It's okay because you got 15 days to get right. I'll take it, dude. We've had a long year. But everyone's gonna wait because of the international break. Roberto says Dallas blew that game, dude. On a penalty that's a little questionable, honestly. To me, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Did it feel like the attacker leaned into the defender and where his foot was more than the defender went into the attacker? Am I wrong in this? But it felt like the momentum was made by the attacker, not the defender. I don't know. I just think it's crap. It's the classic Seattle way, right? Produce it if you can't make it. Like you're not gonna make it yourself, find a way. That's what they do. Oh, and hurt the top player on the other side early. That's another way to do it. So yeah, Dallas. I feel bad for Dallas, but you know what? They get to reset. They go back home again, right? And they play well in their own house. I fully expect them to win at home and take it to game 3. I don't see it any other way. I know they're gonna pull this off. At least get into the penalties, but I think they'll win the game. I'm confident that again, what did Seattle bring to that match besides having the advantage of playing at home? Huge advantage, and they could still only manufacture what? Yeah, a beneficial call. Um, I'll go to you, Araceli, on this. What do you think? Do you think Dallas has a good chance of taking game 2?
I don't know. That's a trick one, to be honest, considering that they just lost Alan Velasco today to a season-ending injury.
Because of what happened in Seattle, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, jacked up. We'll see. We will see. What I do know is this: there's a bunch of old dudes in Seattle, and then they take knocks, the knocks hang. So, yeah, it's dangerous to play the way they're playing right now. That's for sure. All right, let's see. Roberto says extra time has East Coast bias. MLS has East Coast bias. We're used to that. It's because they're sleeping by the time we play, unless Apple forces us to play at a time when everybody's awake. Roberto Espinoza says Ferreira missing sitters though. Has there ever been a game where Ferreira didn't miss sitters? Like that's the Ferreira way. Unless he's playing a team from the Caribbean, he's missing sitters. Like that's what he does. Remember the match against Miami? Yeah, that was the ultimate. It's what he does. Oh, Sakura say we would be okay if one of the Dallas players take out Roldan at home. I mean, they took out their best player. It kind of happens in this sport, right? And like Roberto says, that foul was dirty. It was dirty. But that's what they're gonna do to us too. We play them, they're gonna go after our players. That's what they do. They're an old dog team. Everything breaks apart after this year. They're gonna do anything they can to make it the moment. So we shall see. Good luck to Dallas, though. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. So those are comments that I'm seeing so far. You guys want to give a little bit of playoff vibes? Talk about what else is going on in the league, or we keep going to community news? What do you think?
I've just finished adding up all the calculations while you're doing that, so I've got it all done.
Yeah.
Briefly done.
All right. Before community news, 3 stars. Back to Bam.
3 stars. So in total, there were 22 players polled votes from us. So in 22nd place was Gaines, who got one vote. Equal 20th, Palencia and Crisostomo with two votes. And then we had
No, kidding.
Buke, Sifu, and Opoku all poll 5 votes. Just 1 point above them is both Ilie and Kripo at 6 votes. So even though Kripo came in late, he still got 6 votes from everyone. On 7 votes, Oliveira and Acosta. 9 votes, a player who hasn't seen a lot of playing time lately, Maldonado. 10 votes for Aaron Long. And now we're into the top 10. With 13 votes, we got Hollingshead. 16 votes, Murillo. 17 votes, Palacios. On 18 votes, in equal 5th, Dueñas, Chiellini, and Bogusz.
Huh. Okay.
4th place, 23 votes, Vela. 4th place, 23 votes was Tillman. Vela got 26 votes in 3rd place. 2nd place, 1 vote above him, McCarthy. And we all know who took it out on 48 points. So a 21-point lead was Bouanga.
That's how the MVP voting should go for the league. So you're saying McCarthy got the second most votes for his heroics in the first half of the year?
Yep.
More than first half, all the way to August. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you took it Bouanga, and we'll just go from there. McCarthy would have won by 1 point.
Well, honestly, he did earn it in the early stages of the year. I think we burned him out a bit, just like Maldonado got burned out, right? Because of the situation we were in. Those two, to me, like, they played a season and a half, both of them, but with all the stress they were under and all the pressure they were under, and now you see what happens towards the end, right? Those dudes faded because of the work they put in, sacrifice they put in. You could see by the votes how many times they stood out. They just absolutely stood out. The fact that Duenas has so many votes is also pretty cool to see how his first half of the year went,
100%. It just shows that when he got game time, we saw it and we appreciate it, and he ended up with votes.
Yeah, up until the match in Pasadena, which just, again, I don't think it was his fault, but whatever. The moment was, but the fact that he was in that position was asinine. I'll just say that right now. Yeah, no, it makes sense the way the votes played out, but it just shows how long of a year we had to see what the votes, the names were, and who didn't even crack the top 10. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, no, I think it makes sense. Makes good sense. Are you surprised at all, Tony?
Not at all. Like, those are the players that were like doing as much as they could throughout the whole season before. Again, Wonga has just been on fire for us this whole season, and again, this should be his MVP season. He carried us the whole way to third. If certain players finish the goal, maybe we get second, but I feel like he's a top runner for sure for MVP.
Yeah, I think so too. The other thing is, I'll give credit to all you guys, the supporters, for bringing those votes in. You put the role players up, right? You promoted those who were putting in the work at times when we were thin. You were accurate in your selections. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it showed a real following of the game, of the team, of the vibe, and what we went through and the experience we had this year. So funny how the votes break, but it does show kind of the story of the year. Now, playoffs, a new year, a new vibe, a new look. I mean, if you look at it now, I think top vote getter would probably be Hollingshead or Bouanga, right? Those would be the two running away with it at this point. But he's still got a pretty good number. It's good. It's good. All right. Let's move on. I think we're gonna go to community news, then we'll talk about MLS updates. So Tony, you ready, man? Let's do this. Community updates.
All right, so for community news, I know I had to push, it seems like I have to push my mouse a little bit harder than usual. So as you know, it's a away game for our first time for the playoffs, and then maybe moving forward. But so for watch parties, crew is going to be at Angry Horse Brewing Co. Empire Boys will be at SoFi in Rancho Cucamonga, and Black Army will be at Rudy's LA for the watch parties. There also, check your emails for maybe a special event that LAFC is holding if you can't make it to those, as well as, wait for it, the kick-off time is at 4:30. Okay, you guys? Remind me, kick-off time is at 4:30. So that way you guys don't miss out on what's going on and come in halftime because it says 5 or something, whatever Google says. But kickoff time is at 4:30.
Which I did see some accounts mentioning the wrong time already. So listen to Tony, people. 4:30. All right. Good stuff. Anything else you want to share with community, man?
Of course, we need to build the Mo Facio futsal court. Go to LAFC.com/Mo-Facio. Donate whatever you can. Let's get this field built so we can finally have a supporter shield and have the kids play on a good surface and spread this beautiful game better in Los Angeles. Even though you could just see a pickup game at any park everywhere, but a designated nice futsal court to honor our fallen brethren would be nice as well too.
Especially in the town where he grew up. Details will follow. I will say this: it's not a lost cause. There is movement. Can't say much beyond that, but there is definite movement. So if you are donating, it is going to something, guys. It really is. So I'll leave it at that. Let's get into a little bit of LAFC 2 and league update. Araceli, you got some interesting news, so let's share that. What's going on?
There's definitely some rumblings going on within the league. Today, FC Barron shared a video profiling LAFC's 2 Ryan Aoub, to which I will remind you guys he joined FC Barron's World Squad back in June and has been with them this entire time. And it seems that he will continue playing for Barron for their upcoming matches. It's still kind of undetermined what the agreement is between FC Barron and LAFC2, whether if he will remain with them for a longer period of time or when he will return to the club. But I mean, right now it's the off season for Next Pro, so I mean, he could stay in Germany for the next couple of months if he wants to. But again, we still don't know what the agreement is. Other than that, as I said, they shared a video just kind of profiling him and how he's grateful for the opportunity to be there and for his chance with LAC2. You can see that video on their socials. We also shared it on ours. So if you want to go check that out, I highly recommend it. And just like how we've been talking that the MLS is changing, so is Next Pro. Today, they announced the 30th club that'll be joining the league, which is Jacksonville Armada FC. They are the third independent club, along with Cleveland and Carolina Core, to join the league. Currently, there are 27 active clubs. Jacksonville and Cleveland are slated to start in 2025, whereas next year we will see Carolina Core FC. And just a little background on Jacksonville, they've actually been around for a fair amount of time. They've been in existence for 10 years now. It kind of seems they've been bouncing around a few leagues, with their most recent being the NPSL. So to see them join Next Pro, I know there's going to be a lot of chatter, whether if it's good or bad. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's always curious to see the type of teams that are joining the league. Not only who will LAFC2 face next season and the seasons to come, but just generally speaking, seeing the direction that this league is going in.
Yeah, teams want to be there. They see the writing on the wall with the other league, right? The competitor league, I guess you can call them, and it looking that clean. So yeah, it makes sense to me. I'm not sure how sustainable in reality it might be. But hey, those teams get to be on Apple TV, right? Like there's exposure there. They're a part of the program. So we'll see how it plays out. It's just again building off the player pool. Not a bad thing. That's for sure. Good for MLS. Cleveland's kind of interesting. I ain't gonna lie, because that's been quiet for a while. So to see them in it, okay, let's do this. All right. In terms of Ayub, I mean, what are the chances he ends up in Innsbruck? I'm just saying. Could you see that happening? I could definitely see that happening.
After a certain team's last home game, I think he should get a start in the starting lineup.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was fun to watch. Not really. I'll just say this: respect your opponent at all times. Don't assume anything. You would think a professional team like that would, but things happen. Second time I've seen them get bounced in a short amount of time of that tournament. So there you go. I'll leave it there. Thanks, Bam. And move on from that. Honestly, dude, I kind of chuckle a little bit. Like it's an angry chuckle, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, right? You have to respect the opponent, man. I mean, at the end of the day, and Saarbrücken, I mean, those supporters were legit. Did you watch any of it? It was wow, yeah. Those dudes need to get back to Bundesliga too. That's all I'm gonna say. That support was proper. So there, I'll leave it at that. Football, not so much. Rough day. All right, moving on. Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute, talking about bands that aren't so great, or yeah, I kind of went with one because I was trying to find a Vancouver band, and Slim pickings, people. I'll just say that. So for fun, I went with Theory of a Dead Man because I'm just kind of projecting on a certain opponent we're playing this weekend. Scars and Souvenirs. Scars for them, Souvenirs for our fans that are taking the road trip. So that's why I went with that album. Play off of that. There's some decent songs on it though, actually, and a couple hits. So have fun with that. I know it's not the greatest album in the world, but it's Canada, man. Like it's passing. It's passing, right, man?
It is this. I was going to go out on a even further reach and do a band that has been around for years and released a new song last night or today for your time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are playing a team in Canada. Canada is like Australia, part of the wonderful Commonwealth. I thought we'd look at the Commonwealth ones and go with the Beatles now and then.
Dude. Yeah. So well said. I could have saved that one, man, but hey, that's cool. The last Beatles song. At least the last new release Beatles song that you're ever gonna get, guys. At least we think. 20 something years in the making, right? Because they had this thing and didn't have the tech, and then thanks to Peter Jackson. Yes, that Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings fame. He had the tech, right, to separate things and make it work so you could actually get a new Beatles song, and he did it. And the guys put it together, and there's a short like a 10-12 minute documentary on YouTube right now rolling out there. I watched it last night. Bam, I think you did too. Yeah, it was pretty darn amazing. If you're a Beatles fan, it's super cool. And yeah, I guess the big release is coming, so check it out. Check it out. There's violins, there's very old school feel. I'm happy with it. I think Bam, you're happy with it too, right?
It's a good way to finish off all the songs because the Beatles' very first song was "Love Me Do," and to finish off with this, it's just that perfect ending.
The transition to see, yeah, good stuff. I like that choice, man. A lot better than Theory of a Dead Man. So there you go. Tony, you want to jump in, man?
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned the Beatles to start for the playoffs and like the first win. When I was walking to the stadium, I was listening to the Beatles. What was it called? Not Fallen. It's off the first album. I'm trying to remember right now. There's so many off that. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you tomorrow. I'll miss you. Oh, I have the whole song in my head. I just can't remember the artist. I can't remember the title for that one.
He's gonna get it.
All My Loving. There you go. Oh,
there you go. I didn't want to mess him up, man.
Yeah. So that's what it was. Like All My Loving was the song I was listening to walking to the tailgate and everything. And that's like been a staple for me. So kind of crazy.
Oh, dude. I don't think there's a day goes by where I don't hear a Beatles song. Like seriously. Yeah, it's one of those bands, You got to. Good choice, Bam. I like it. We'll run with that. For the mix that Tony's gonna create, we'll stick with the Beatles one. It's gonna be much better than Theory of a Dead Man. I'll just say that. All right, let's move on. Let's go back to the second leg here. What we're talking about a preview for these guys. What is this, 6th time we're doing this? 7th time? Good Lord. All right. We just need to finish these dudes off and move on so we can go kick some Seattle butt. All right, let's go for it. Team stats, who cares? Injuries and suspensions. Yeah, that one might matter. What do you got, Bam?
So far, only Tilbert and Hassel out for them. For us, we seem pretty healthy. There's no suspensions because no one got the red card.
There it is. All right, so they're hurting more than we are. Stick it, right? Forget those fools. All right, players to watch. The dummies that put their hands up to shush us. Those are your dummies to follow, right? It doesn't really change. That's what we got to look at. Gald, White, Larea, Adekube. Right? Take it serious. Mario's got to be better in the first half. We'll be fine. I think it's more about us in this game. Is their lineup going to change? Let's see. Looking at Vancouver, are they going to make any changes? Well, in the last game, I think Martin's got time for Brown. We had Berhalter come in for Vite. I mean, Berhalter could get a start in this match. That could happen. He did get a lot of time for them. Junior Hullet came in for Kubas. That ain't happening to start. Ali Ahmed came in for Shopf. That would be a shock if that changes. And then, of course, Johnson came in for Atakube. Not going to get the start in that case. Your thoughts, Bam? Are you going to shuffle anything, or we're going right to the predictable start for Vancouver?
Look, it's been a little bit over a week. I think predictable start. I think we're both going to go out for the same lineups. There's not much you can really do. It is a playoff game, and everyone needs to be on their put out their best. So for me, it's going to be the same lineups both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect much change. I will say this: they kind of pressed it on us early in the last game, really heavy with the wing play, right? Because it's what they do. I expect them to do the same thing in this game. It's going to be one of those things where they're going to try to bloody our nose in the first 10 to 15 minutes. They're going to want to get a mark early. For us, we just got to be really careful on the counters. And we could counter them. I think they're really going to come at us hard in this thing to get us, right? Because we don't chase well on turf. We don't. We get behind it. Usually that's the story. So if that's what you know, that's what you're going to go for. But that does leave you huge opportunities to counterattack Vancouver and get one. So I think that's where we're going to be at, is just pick your spots. And then once they burn out, if you can survive it, then we can take the game over. But first few minutes, yeah, expect the pressure from what we see. Now, looking at that lineup for us, thoughts about the changes. Backline, I think there is a little bit of debate, not about Hollingshead, not about Palacios, not even about Murillo. Does Chiellini start in this game? And I'm going to go to you, Tony, first. I know the turf situation. He did play last time up there, which I think might be a tell. Chiellini starts or long starts?
Chiellini starts because it's
Okay.
a week break. It's not a quick turnaround, so it's a week break. I think he starts. Hopefully, he can make it through because we have to play another turf game if Dallas can't pull a comeback. So yeah, because it's like it's gonna be 2 turf games, and we'll see what happens after that.
At least there's a long span of break between that game if it does happen for us, right? And what happens for them. Araceli, your thoughts? Do you think Chiellini starts, doesn't start? Where are you at on that one?
I mean, if I'm honest, if he can play on turf once, he could definitely do it again. Would I be hesitant considering the recent injuries caused by turf? Of course, but given that I have no doubt that Vancouver is going to come off strong, especially in the opening minutes, I kind of want him to start to nail it down, but we'll
We need a
see.
leader back there, right?
Mhm.
We need leadership. Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Bam, Chiellini's starting, right?
Yeah, he's starting not just for his leadership, but he knows it's a playoff, so he's starting.
There we go. Now, the other situation is the midfield. Last time was Bogus, Sanchez, Tillman. Acosta got the rest for very obvious reasons, but he is now rested. He has limited minutes. Does he start this game? And if he does, who comes out? And I will go to you, Bam, first. You're 3 in the midfield. Where do you think it's going to go?
Bogus, Ilie, Tillman.
Stay the same.
Stay the same.
Okay, Tony?
I run it back. Same lineup that we did last time. If it ain't fixed, don't break it. Give Acosta a good enough time to rest because we'll need him into the longer part of the rest of the second season.
And as the second half gets chippy, he's a good player to bring into that situation. So I could see that too off the bench. Up top, Vela, Olvera, Boanga. Do we have any debate here, guys? Consensus. They're the starters. No way around it. Be silly otherwise. So there you go. Why put a guy that wins his breakaways over there? Just saying. That's life. Move on. Use the finishers. All right. So that is the starting lineup. Off the bench, again, we know our typicals, right? This team, I wouldn't say they're predictable. We just know the strengths. We know who they are. We know who the top picks are. You heard from the panel already about the Ordaz conversation versus Gonzalez. That's the debate. That's where it's going to be. Where is Steve at on that? That's going to be the conversation, is what are the substitutions going to be more than the starters. Now, knowing where we're at, I think it's a good time to check in with our supporters and see where they're at. So let's definitely go to the comments here. Our last run through before this playoff game. Let's see here where you guys at. Jumping on this, we've got Roberto. Oh God, I'm laughing. All right, I'll just go to Roberto. It says, man, I honestly forgot how long this season has been, considering I'm like, wow, these guys aren't even getting minutes right now. Yeah, again, burnout, dude, is real. It's a real thing. They sacrificed their second half for you guys, right? Putting in the hard minutes. That's for sure. Soccer USA, I saw you made a comment about Foster's. I'm not even going to entertain that. I love you, man, but I'm not putting Bam through that, because if you talk about it, you think about how bad it tastes, and nobody wants to go that direction. So, yes. SKC looks so good from Roberto. That one's for Araceli. Roberta says they don't want to. He doesn't want to play them. They got some dog in him. They got one guy in them, right? That he is the dog. So I'll just leave it at that. I love that guy anyway. So wish he played for us. Oh, Soccer USA's question to Araceli says, for Araceli, could you see LAFC pursuing any young players in Next Pro from another club?
That's actually a very good question, if I'm honest. I wouldn't be surprised if LAFC take a look at the LAFC 2 roster first, considering they had called up Dolenmeyer, Suba, and Jaime, I think a total of 2 or 3 times for each in the regular season. But aside from that, I mean, it's not impossible, because even last season, Columbus Crew's Max Arston, he played with Earthquakes too. Then he became eligible for the 2023 draft, where Columbus picked him up from. So there is very much a possibility that Next Pro players could have a chance at the draft even.
That's fascinating. So hey, there is a chance, guys. There's a chance somebody that stands out could end up on our roster. And of course, you could always pay for players, right? I mean, business is business. So that could happen too. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I know there's nothing worth anything in Carson to buy, so we'll just leave it at that. All right. Dave Gomez, we feel your pain. Bam definitely feels your pain. Says a 1:30 Central European time start time. Monday, I'm going to be worthless that day. He says that means 1:30 in the morning, people.
For me,
Poor
it's 11:30 in the morning on Monday, which is the day before. Which is the day before Melbourne Cup Day, which is a public holiday for me. So I've got the day off work that Monday anyway, so it works perfectly.
Party time. There we go. Bam's ready. Sorry, Dave. We love you, man. Soccer USA bringing up Grasshopper. Yeah, that was a weird little news story. Grasshopper, LAFC interest. Now they're fielding other bids because LAFC is interested to see if there's some value in the product. I think that was the gist of the story. A Swiss connection. Yeah, let's not take the Red Bull approach. I'll just say that. I'll just fair warning early. But yeah, creating a network all over the world of these teams at that level is pretty good for our young players. It's a good league, a really good league. Comparable wage to, I think, our current top side. So yeah, should be interesting to see if that's something we're really going at. And there's some real history at Grasshopper, so don't mess that up, people. I'll just say that. Mark Lopez says friends in Canada are surprised you don't know their bands. Apparently, the government subsidizes the music industry and mandates airtime on all stations. Is that why they all sound like Nickelback? I don't know. I'll let it go. I'll let it go, people. Yeah. And then Soccer USA follows up as they gifted the world Nickelback. See, that stinks, man. It could be Creed. What? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Justin Bieber. Oh, dude, we're not going in a good direction here. Dude. It's getting bad. Okay. There's some others. There's definitely some others. But no Alanis Morissette. Come on, people. I'm done making fun of Canada. I'll move on. Soccer USA. If LSU sit back and allow Vancouver to press, this could become a track meet. I'd take my chances. Nah, that's gonna be a counter. Yeah, I'm with you. I think counterattacks would kill these dudes. Get ready for it. Mr. Oliveira, this is your moment. I'm gonna say that right now. He's the guy. Soccer USA says can't see game being similar to our last game in Austin. No. This game's gonna be tough, guys. Nothing easy about this one. This one can go either way because we're playing on turf. We hope the right LAFC shows up for this match. Are we holding our breath? Hell no. It's always gonna be sketch for us when we play on turf, but dude, we're healthy at this point. Like it's got to be something. That's for sure. Oh, Soccer USA's got more Foster stuff, dude. I'm not going there, dude. I'm not. I'm no. Talking about Newcastle for me. I don't. Do you want to have fun with him? You go for it.
I'll go
All right, I'll throw it up there. Go for it.
So, one, no, I won't be smashing your Fosters. That's just stuff that we export because we don't drink it here. If anything, at the moment, I've got onto a Australian single malt whiskey, Chief Son, local little distillery here. Not bad,
dude. See, he's drinking the grown up stuff. Yeah, not the kegger stuff, and I can only afford Foster stuff. No. He's drinking the good stuff. So there it is. We know what Bam's up to. Yeah. Nobody, dude. Does anybody still? How's Foster still in business? That's what I want to know. Sometimes I wonder about certain brands. How does it survive?
Because we export it and everyone buys it thinking that we drink it. It's smart marketing.
Funny. I think the only purpose of that is to fry things, beer battered, right? I mean, I think that would be, you could cook it out, man. Like I don't know, crazy.
I still wouldn't ruin beer batter with that beer.
I know. See, it is what it is. It is what it is. Daniel Onhill says, I don't hate on Bieber. He watched us lift a cup. It's true. He watched us lift a cup. Oh, yeah, Vancouver doesn't do those sorts of things. Toronto used to. Yeah, us. So there you go. Even your biggest artists choose us over you. Deal with it, Vancouver. Deal with it. Thank you, Daniel, for that. But yeah, I'm not hating on him, but not listening to him either. So there you go. All right. So those are the comments. Y'all are amazing. Keep it up. Yeah, let's do this. Let's make it happen. I think we're at that point. End of the show. Yep, wrapping things up. So, first and foremost, we're gonna get into those final thoughts. And of course, thank you guys for what you do. I'll go to you, Araceli. Since you were the first on, I'll have you be the first one to throw up the final thoughts.
My final thoughts are simple. I'm wishing safe travels for anyone going up to Vancouver. As for everyone back home in LA, obviously, if you do go to a watch party, please be safe. Always have a excuse me. Always have a second plan to get back home, regardless if you're riding with somebody or using an Uber whatsoever. I know for me personally, the game is at 6:30 my time, which isn't bad, but considering Sporting plays at 4:00, I will try my best to watch that game, but otherwise, I am just hoping for another good result.
I mean, dang, that's tough. When you do watch that Bass Pro across the street, that's not going to be good. No, there's a good shopping center across the street. Trust me, I know this. Had an experience there. Aristote's laughing at me, but it's again, the game times are made for TV, not made for fans. People who travel to the games have to sacrifice watching any other game on the day because they put them so close together. Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, we'll see what happens next. Good thing is, by the time we play our game, we will actually know what Seattle did in the second leg. We'll already know whether they have one more to play or that's who we face. The other side of the bracket, not so much, right? I mean, right after, so we will kind of know, except Houston and RSL goes late. It's so weird. But there it is. All right, I'm gonna go to you, Bam, next. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Again, like always, mental health, guys. It's a major problem, not just here in Australia, not just in the US, all around the world. So, if you do need help, reach out. It's okay to not be okay. Reach out to friends, make sure they're okay, and all that kind of stuff. And speaking of reaching out to friends, I'm going to give a massive shout out to an expo. Monty, happy birthday, mate. Enjoy. Hope you have a good day. Hope you get spoiled and all that. And yeah, that's the main thing. Just reach out to your friends and make sure everyone's all right.
There it is. Happy birthday, Monty. We love you, man. Dude is a legend in the real sense of the term. Been there from the start. Helped me in the early days when I was president of this madness. And he was always there. So love you, Monty, dude. Thank you for all that you've done, dude. And keep it up, dude, because he's still in the mix doing his thing. So good on him, dude. Thank you, Bam, for that. Tony, final thoughts, sir.
Final thought is, again, watch parties, go all out. For those traveling, be safe, and give them hell over there because they are opening the upper decks for some reason. Maybe they're expecting a good turnout. Who knows? Also, I would like to give a shout out to one of our viewers who found me at my cafe out of like, they're like, I know you from somewhere. And then of course the Capo stand. And then what surprised me the most was yeah, I listened to the pod, and I was like, oh, whoa, what? Like, that was the first time ever. So as I told you there, thank you for listening. We appreciate all our listeners and everyone who takes time to be here on the live, and also takes their time to listen during their drives to work, from work, to the game, or whenever you listen to this. So I like to thank you all for keeping us accountable, also listening in, because without you, we wouldn't be at 324.
That is the truth. I mean, we're honestly humbled to see how much support we've gotten over the years from you guys. It's been a lot of turnover, a lot of changes, a lot of challenges, pandemic and all. Still here, still doing the thing because this crew and all of you. Um, it is great when you guys mention it to us out on the street, and it has been a few times where it's like, what? Yeah, and we kind of, there are times when I'll say this, that sometimes we don't take stock or don't understand how big the pod part is of this, which is the actual purpose, right? This is what we record, this is what we produce, this is what costs the most, right, to get the podcasts out there. But that is what fuels it. That's what keeps it going. We love doing the live show and love all you guys that come on in the middle of the night, but we do know that the bread and butter of Heart of LAFC has always been the podcast side of it. And that is stronger than it's ever been. Hard to track, but we do track it. Keep it up, guys. Keep up the support. We love all of it. We just hope we do right by you. And if you ever think or say or have something you want to share with us, do it. Something you want us to cover, mention it to us. We will run it, man. We'll have fun with it. The more we hear from you, the better the show gets. So thank you guys for that. On my point, I think I kind of said it best for my final thought, right, Tony? Anything else you want to add on before I close out?
No, just that, like I said, again, it puts us in awe. We don't know what to say. It's what I mean? We're not, we don't do this for fame or anything. We do it for fun. Again, as most people know, this was Joseph's outlet to talk football during his presidency, and is involved for all of us to now it's actually my kind of way of talking football and learning more tactics, more of the team and everything like that. Because again, it's hard to watch the game sometimes being up there, but as well as, I like just bouncing ideas and just talking football with my friends and, colleagues, as well as you guys, So again, when you guys mention us, it's we forget that we are part of this. It's you know what I mean? Because we just have fun with it. We forget we're doing something that people listen to us and take their time out of their days, because time is a very valuable thing. So thank you for all of that again.
Well said, Tony. Right on point, man. Like that is ultimately what it is we're thankful. We don't really realize how long it's been or how many we've done or how many have followed us. We don't. We just know that we keep doing it for you guys and doing it for us too. Because honestly, the podcast is the tail end of our conversation of the night. It does work that way too. But again, we're blessed we get to share it with you guys. That's for certain. So let's get that next win so we can keep the episodes going and have another thing to talk about next week. And a good break too before we get into the conference finals. That is the hope. That is what we're praying for. So let's do that. And so that with that being said, let's move on to final word of the day. Araceli.
Stay golden.
Bam.
Stay golden.
Tony.
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
And from me to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.